Oyez, oyez, oyez. Silence is commanded by this honorable commission. All those having business, draw near.
Thank you, and you may be seated. The herald said that silence is commanded, so I'm going to ask everybody right now while you have an opportunity to check your cell phones, all right? Please check your cell phones so that we don't have any disturbance in these proceedings. I've asked you to be seated at this time as we prepare now for our inspiration and then our invocation. And Father, and I'm stopped. I'm not going to try that again because between from there to here and talking to them, I forgot what you told me. All right, and I told you when I came over there, I'm not going to mess up your name. Okay, so I'm going to call you Father, and then when you come up, you pronounce your name. All right, I don't mind to say I have a deficiency. All right. I don't speak a lot of these languages, and I like to get folks' names right. Okay, so when Father comes up, he's going to give us his inspiration, and then he will announce that he's ready for prayer. When he does that, I want to ask everybody to re-stand, okay? And when we stand, we go through prayer and follow in the prayer. Then we'll go through our pledge, all right, with Commissioner Harge, and then we do our appreciation, all right? Father, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. It's Father Pablo Migoni,
Okay.
and it's good to be here. As I thought about this morning, something that came to mind is how we all know how no matter how many times we tell our children at home, in school, that they must do this, they must do that, what truly matters is the example that we give them. It seems when I was a kid, maybe I was naive, maybe some of you relate, we weren't quite sure what the adults were doing, but it seems that nowadays the children are really watching us like hawks. And the children are very quick to point out to us when there's an inconsistency, when we say one thing and we do another. For us as leaders, be it civil leaders like you, be it religious leaders like me and so many other pastors in Chatham County, I truly believe that not children, but those that we take care of are truly always watching us, looking at us. And I think that keeps us honest. It's not something to be afraid of, something to hide from, but I think it keeps us honest, that our words will always be consistent with our actions, that our beliefs will be consistent with what we do, and how we show kindness, civility, compassion, how we dialogue, how we listen to one another. I've always believed that government is not a necessary evil, like some may argue, but rather, especially those in civil authority in the government, they are able to guide us, to help us, to challenge us, so that all of us as citizens can make good decisions that help the common good of our society. Good government helps citizens not only to choose what is right, but always to choose what is best, not just for the individual, but for the whole of society. During the hurricane just a few weeks ago, we had a parish festival scheduled at Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church in Port Wentworth, which is 99.9 Spanish-speaking, about 400 to 500 Latino families that gather there, and I'm the pastor there, and at Corpus Christi on Benton Boulevard. We canceled our parish picnic, our festival, and instead we used all the food to cook it and to give out food to people in need. And then the following week, we were able to help about 1,000 individuals to receive all kinds of things that were necessary after the storm. All of you can count on our prayers every single day when we have our service at Corpus Christi. I always pray for our civil authorities, and that's you. And I pray that you may be able to enact laws that respect every human person, that enact laws that look out for the oppressed, the marginalized, those who suffer injustice, and then also that the Lord will continue to help you and guide you in your decisions. So you can count on the prayers and support of both Corpus Christi Catholic Church on Benton Boulevard, which is Savannah, city of Savannah, and also Our Lady of Lourdes in Port Wentworth, so that you can continue to lead us by good example, and that the citizens of Chatham County can be well taken care of, and that all of us together may always look for the good in one another. And now I will do the prayer.
May we stand?
Let us pray. We hear in the Gospel of Matthew, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and the great ones make their authority over them felt. But it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you shall be your servant. Just so the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Lord, we ask you this morning to give us hearts that resemble your own. Give us servant hearts, that all of us, be it in government, be it in the church, be it in our families and workplaces, that we may always have ears that are attentive, hearts that are always quick to serve. May we always be instruments of kindness, of goodness, of gentleness. May we listen to one another. Help us, Lord, to imitate you, that we may bring about goodness in our society, watching over those who are least fortunate, those who are in need. We ask this with confidence, trusting that you are with us and that you watch over us. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Hart? Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. And Father, we want to thank you for being here with us. We can't play you, but we give you our appreciation for having you here and for being willing to give us inspiration as well as the invocation. And I'm going to have Ms. Gill get in contact with you because you said something that sparked some bees that run around up here, all right? Being a pastor of a Baptist church, all right? One day when you have in service that I can attend, all right, I'll find out and let Ms. Gale put it on my schedule.
Excellent.
Especially since we are, you all about a new congregation.
Correct.
And
5 years old.
Okay, see, and I've never been in the midst of your congregation, but a whole lot of elders I have, so.
It'd be great. It'd be great to have you.
Look for that call from Ms. Gale, and we see if we can't match schedules.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
Again, thank you for being here, and thank you for your inspiration.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right. Let us have a roll call.
Chester A. Ellis, Chairman.
Present.
Helen L. Stone, District 1, Vice Chairman.
Present.
Dean Kicklighter, District 7, Chairman Pro Tem.
Here.
Melinda Scott Hodge, District 2.
Present.
Bobby Lockett, District 3.
Present.
Patrick K. Farrell, District 4.
Here.
Tanya Milton, District 5.
Present.
Aaron Whiteley, District 6.
Here.
Kenneth A. Adams, District 8.
Present.
All right, let me now call upon Commissioner Milton as she introduces our youth commissioners who are here today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome back my favorite two. We have Caden Fisher, who is an executive member with the Youth Commission. He's a senior at New Hampstead High School, and he wishes to be a traveling nurse. So we're going to try to aid you in that. Anything we can do to help you, you let us know. And, of course, Miss Abigail Gregory is back, and Abigail is interested in her law. She's going to follow the rest of the family and get into law, and I'm sure she'll be a good one at that. She's also a senior at Savannah Arts Academy. So we welcome both of you here again, and we look forward to you participating and asking questions if necessary. Just jump right in there. Good deal.
Shake all those judges' hands.
Yes, we're so grateful to have you with us today, all right? And we hope that you will, if you have, want to ask any questions or make any comments about anything that's on the agenda, please just raise your hand and signal, and if I don't catch it, one of us will catch it and get my attention, okay? But we would love for you to take part in what we're doing. Let me take this time to introduce some folks in our audience. First of all, let's take care of all our constitutional officers. We have our judges from Superior Court with us, both Judge Friedman and Judge Moss. All right, from Juvenile Court, Judge Cole. We have the Chief Deputy here with us. Do I see the Tax Commissioner or someone else? Any other constitutional officer? I don't see them. All right, let me now recognize our state representative, Anna Jackson. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. I was looking over that way, and there you go. She's here. Did I get them all? Y'all help me now, because you know sometimes I have fogginess. Okay. With that, we do have to have a public hearing, and the public hearing is on the CDBG/CV grant funds for construction of Second Harvest. We're getting ready to close that out. Let me have a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Properly motion and second that we open the public hearing. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Wait, no. Okay, now. All right. With that, let me call upon Ms. Jennings, all right, who's gonna come up and give us some directions, and then I'll go from there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For those who have interest in being a part of the public meeting, there is a sign-up sheet over here, and we would ask that they would sign up.
Okay.
So today, we're here to close out one of our, probably I think in Chatham County's history, one of our biggest grants that we've had. So we are here to talk about the grants that we received to support the construction of new and improved Second Harvest Food Bank in Chatham County. Chatham County served as the fiscal agent in partnership with CETA, Second Harvest, and Coastal Regional Commission for 2 separate grants. So we had Award 21 CV-Y-025-1-6239, which is a CDBG CV standing for coronavirus in the amount of $19,484,700. In addition to that, we had a second award, a supplemental award, 17 DRINF-2-001 CDBG-DR for $5 million, and that was disaster recovery. So we had a total award grant dollars of $24,484,700. Our stakeholders, as I mentioned, was Coastal Regional Commission, who served as the project management and project administration for the grant. We had CETA to help as the land acquisitions and management of that, and the Second Harvest, who was able to secure the match of more than $16 million. So that's almost unheard of in projects like this. So today I'm going to turn it over to Mary Jane Crouch, which is Executive Director of Second Harvest, and she's going to provide us with an overview of the project.
Good morning, all. I know most of you, but my name is Mary Jane Crouch. I'm Executive Director of Second Harvest. It's good to see you today. This has been a wonderful experience. It's been a great thing, and I think looking back on it, for the future, you will be very pleased what we'll be able to do for the community. If we could move forward, is it this one?
Come and help her with. Ask them too. Isn't that, Rob, am I looking at, is that monitor out over there? Is that one off? I want to make sure they seeing what we seeing on our screen. So I want to make sure that all of them, see if we don't have some technical difficulties. I see it on this side. All right, but don't worry.
Click which one?
Is it on the ones out there? Okay, so we got the whole thing covered? Okay, all right, well, they'll work out the kinks over there in the all right.
Can you finish with that? This is, I'm not sure, this is not actually advancing.
So while they're working on this, I will tell you that we moved from a 70,000 square foot building to we now have 150,000 square feet. I hope all of you have been out to see your new community food bank. We've really put a lot of things into play with the food bank, especially during the last hurricane. We were able to provide food to a lot of people in the community. We've provided food and meals for about 420,000 meals just in the week after the hurricane hit. We continue to do that, and you'll probably see a lot of that going on. This is actually what the warehouse looks like for the building. As you can see, at our old building, we had 2 docks. Here we have 11 docks, so we're able to provide faster, more efficient service to the 240 organizations that come to us to get food. This is our commercial kitchen. You'll see that we are doing right now over 4,200 meals every day that get distributed out through our Kids Cafe program to the children in Chatham County and the surrounding areas, along with tutoring and tutoring and homework assistance. This is the volunteer center. So this is where volunteers come in and pack boxes of food, backpacks for children, sort food, and get it right back out to the community. This is the actual warehouse, and you can see it's much larger than our old warehouse, those of you that have been there. Is that it? As you can see, we've been doing mobile food pantries. We did one recently over at Memorial Stadium, and then we did one out at Gulfstream. They hosted us. We're at the one at Memorial Stadium. We served food to about 725 families, and that was about 60 to 65 pounds of food. And then last week we did one out at Gulfstream so we could hit that section of the county. And at that one we served over 600 families food and additional items such as fresh produce and everything. These are just some of the volunteers that were there. Yeah. So we appreciate your support. I know Tara has been unbelievable to work with on this project. She has really and truly listened to me a lot. Trust me. She probably has now blocked my cell phone number when we close this meeting out. But she has really been great to work with, and we appreciate all your support making this happen. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, what we're going to do now is, now that you've explained and Tara has explained, we're going to open it up now. Is there anyone sitting in the audience who would like to ask questions or make any comments? This is a public hearing. All right, if you do, please come to my right over here by the manager. Okay, you'll find a pad where you can sign up for comments, good, bad, or indifferent. All right? Because we have to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, and we have to try to find it all and find the medium for it all. Is there anyone? Well, I'm like the auctioneer now, going once, going twice, going 3 times. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Properly motion and second that the public hearing be closed. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right. Thank you, ma'ams.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. All right. Let us now move on that we go to proclamation recognizing November the 3rd, 2024 as Georgia Retired Educators Day in Chatham County. Dr. Brenda Roberts is here, but I also see the current president of the CREA. I'm gonna ask all of them to come, and everybody else who came with you all. All of you come up here together. Good morning. Right.
The retired educators, which you are a part of, that Chatham Retired
I'm
Educators.
a past president.
Yes, he is. We have been
let me do this now before we get to that part.
All right.
All right. You know, some educators you got to slow down. All right. Let me read this in part. Read this proclamation, and then I'll open it up for you to have comments. Okay. The County of Chatham, Georgia, proclamation. Whereas more than 145,000 retired educators have devoted their time, talents to the public education in our state, fostering the academic development of millions of outstanding citizens in the state of Georgia. And whereas retired educators touch and influence the lives of generations of young people, motivating and inspiring these students to use their eminent talent and ability for the fullness, prompting them to become responsible, contributing citizens. Now, therefore, I, Chester A. Ellis, Chairman, on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim Sunday, November the 3rd, 2024, as Retired Educators Day in Chatham County in recognition of these individuals dedicating their time and commitment to bettering our country, our county, and encouraging all citizens to express their gratitude for the work done by retired educators. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hands and caused the seal of Chatham County, Georgia, to be affixed this 18th day of October 2024. The mic is yours.
Well, thank you so much again. As you said, you are past president, and the Chatham Retired Educators have been in existence since 1971. And as already been stated in the proclamation, we are out in our community, our churches, our neighborhoods. We are still working, retired, but still busy. So we thank you so much for honoring us, and we look forward to continuing to do what has already been started in the Chatham County Retired Educators.
Thank you so much for being here, and introduce the crew.
All right, the crew. This is Dottie Platt. She is our state chairperson, membership chairperson. This is Brenda. She is our publicity person and all other wonderful things that she does. This is Jean Edwards. She is now our volunteer chairperson. This is Annette Smith. She is our local membership chairperson. And you can see we're all very busy.
Amen. And thank you all for being here. Now let me ask you to do this.
Yes, sir.
Take your proclamation and turn around, and there's a lady standing behind you with a camera.
Yes, sir.
All right, if you all will close in so that we can get those pictures and things for our archives. You already took yours? Okay, all right.
Thank
All right.
you all so much.
Wait a minute, hold, slow down. See, I don't, any comments, any comments from Commissioner?
Trying to move.
That's all right. Any comments from Commissioner? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to acknowledge the impact that educators have. My family is filled with educators. I know some of you personally, and you've all touched my life in so many different ways. Ms. Platts is my neighbor, was my neighbor growing up. And I will never forget, I invited her to my high school graduation. You know, you send those invitations out. And I remember her actually showing up. And that was such a lesson to me as an individual, because you get tons of these invitations. You have no intention of ever showing up. And that has, you impact our lives in so many different ways. So I just wanted to share that. And it's good to see you, Ms. Platt.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, any other? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So ladies, thank you for your contribution to our community. I know educators are one of the most underappreciated professions in our world, especially in our nation here. So thank you for your service, and thank you for your continued service, because y'all could be really retired, but you're still working. So we appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, thank you all for being here. And, oh, God, okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a former teacher, I do thank you all, and I know some days it's difficult, but like it's already been stated, the impact that you have on young people is very profound, and you never know what one person you're going to touch in one way and help them to succeed in life. So thank you.
Thank you as well. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Milton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to congratulate you all on a wonderful job that you do, and I'm sure Ms. Roberts will be sending me the story to go with my picture. And keep doing what you're doing. It keeps you young.
It does.
That's right.
It does. Yes, it does.
All right. Have you all decided where you're going to worship on the 3rd?
Yes. Overcoming by Faith, 9 a.m. service.
All right, Overcoming?
Overcoming,
All right, 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
All right, on the 3rd.
Look forward to seeing you.
On the 14th?
No, the 3rd.
Oh,
November
okay.
the 3rd.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just trying
I
to
just
get.
said the 14th.
Yeah, okay. I'm making sure. Okay.
All right, Commissioner.
All right. Sometimes what you communicate, folks don't get it right. But I
November
wanna
the
make sure.
3rd.
November the 3rd. No.
On the 14th, though.
They can hack that. 9 o'clock on any Sunday. Them folks at St. Paul want me there, or they be wanting to choke me. I don't get choked, all right? Thank you all for being here. and-
Thank you
and
so
thank
much.
All right.
Thank you all so
All right.
much.
Good job, great. Thank you, keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
All right, turn it over to you now, Mr. Manager. Going to Mr. Manager for our Employee Service Award.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. And good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm going to ask our Human Resources Director, Ms. Fields, to come forward as we recognize our employees on their years of service to the citizens of Chatham County. Ms. Fields?
Good morning.
Our employees that we're recognizing this morning have a total of 215 years of service.
Put the mic up.
We are super proud of this milestone that you are accomplishing, and we want to thank you for your years of service with Chatham County. Up first, with 35 years of service, Miss Beverly Hardy with the Sheriff's Office. With 20 years of service, Edward Albright II with Juvenile Court. Not here. With 20 years of service, Lieutenant Kenneth Cochran Sr. with the Detention Center. With 20 years of service, Darrell Green with the Solid Waste Department of Public Works. 20 years of service, Miss Debbie Morse with Juvenile Court.
And y'all gonna have to move center. Let Debbie move over. Go over.
Come on.
And then, yeah, there you go. No. There you go. Now.
– 20 years of service, Miss Kathy Dixon with CCPD.
All females. All females.
15 years of service, Deputy Corrections Officer Miss Burdine Joseph with the Detention Center. 10 years of service, Glenn Grant with Parks and Recreation. Ten years of service, Miss Amy Edge with Occupational Safety. 10 years of service, Tyrone Polite with Facilities Maintenance. 10 years of service, Mark Slaughter with Sales Tax.
My nickname for him is Sarge. You all ought to visit over at the convention center. You ought to see the work that they all did in their recovery from the hurricane. That's something that all of us need to go see, all right?
10 years of service, Michelle Powers with the Detention Center. 5 years of service, Walter Baker with Parks and Rec. 5 years of service, Kelly Harold with the Detention Center. And 5 years of service, Corporal Andrew Nelson with CCPD. Thank you.
Thank you all for your service. Thank you for what you do and the job that you do. And I'm again extending that invitation, Sarge, to all of commissioners to come over and see the marvelous work that you did over on that convention center after the earthquake ripped it apart. All right. I mean, it's something to be held. It's something marvelous to see. All right. All right. Let me do this now. Is Kevin off? Is he over in the other room watching us? Kevin, if you, I'm Calvin. Yeah, and Fleet. Yeah, is he over there? Have him come here. I want him to come. I'm gonna delay for a few seconds just to get him over in here. While we're waiting on him, I want the fire department to come up front. All right, Kelvin, I want you to tell the commissioners the good news about the fire department.
Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? We got 2 new pumpers that just came in the other day, so that'll add to the fleet, take some of the old stuff out. So we just got those in the other day, and we're gonna try to get them ready for service as soon as we can.
You just got 2 fire trucks.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. We are working on some of the bigger aerials.
Right.
They will be in. We're gonna go to pre-construction next week, look at them and kind of go over everything. So we'll have some other stuff coming in too. So we're working with Chief Vickers and trying to get some stuff coming.
All right.
Yep.
See, now, I want to make sure you keep us informed as to when
yes.
that new equipment and stuff, Chief and Manager, you all make sure y'all give us a.
Tell them how long it takes the procurement process.
Yeah, the procurement process takes about anywhere from 2 to 5 years. So we're getting with them so that we could come up with a 5-year plan and try to keep them going so we won't lag in any years.
Right.
So we're gonna come up with a process of getting them coming in every year and try to budget that way also so that we don't lack any years.
Okay. And I just want to make sure we know, let the commission know what you all are doing and so that they talk to their constituents about the new fire department.
Yes.
All right, it's
Yes,
coming
sir.
up and I haven't forgotten about the new headquarters. that's on the market too. But those trucks came in and I wanted everyone to know that they're here.
Yeah,
All right.
They was already pre-ordered.
Right.
In that time frame, and Chief has done a great job at trying to keep them coming, so we're gonna follow that process and keep it going.
All right. Good information. And I just want to make sure that was why we were doing the service. So thank you.
All righty.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
All right, let's go. We didn't have any chairman's items, but can I have a motion to amend the agenda to put something under commissioner items?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Properly motion and second that we amend the agenda to reflect on commissioner items. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right, all votes are in. Now let me recognize Commissioner Farrell, who shall bring us information under the commissioner's item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to inform the board and the public that I have been appointed to the recreational dock stakeholders. It's about 10 people from up and down the coast from off Georgia, from the Florida line to South Carolina. And what they're looking at is recreational docks permitting as far as new construction, size, height, look, materials, all these different items that have to do with residential docks that folks build on the coast, which we represent a large share of those here in Chatham County and probably many more to come. So what I'd like to do is just let the folks that are watching solicit their input if they have any types of comments or suggestions that they would like for me to bring to these meetings on their behalf to represent the property owners that either have residential docks or thinking about getting those docks. And of course, I can be reached at chathamcounty.org. You can find all my information. So I just wanted to put that out there just for everybody to know about and to be aware of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And let me do this now. PIO, and you can hear me. Let's make sure that we put on our website, let's put a special place for the recreational docks, okay? And put his contact information, email or text message or phone number, so that it'll make it easier for citizens to get in touch with him about concerns they have about the recreational docks, okay? So let's put that, so that'll give them.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
They're in the process of rulemaking, which is a way that they go about coming up with a standard operating procedure for permitting. And this is the time for input from the public and from stakeholders as they want to see the future of the permitting process for your own personal residential docks. So.
All right, let's make it easier for folks to get in contact and get information, okay? All right, thank you. We move on now to table item. May I have a motion to take off the table to request the board adopt revisions and approve the update list of roads for the Chatham County Speed Zone Ordinance? There a motion to
So
take
moved,
it off
Mr.
the table?
Chairman.
All right, motion. There's a proper motion and second that we untable it. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right, it's in. Request the board adopt revisions and approve the updated list of roads for the Chatham County Speed Zone Ordinance. Is there a motion?
I so move.
There's a second?
Second.
Properly motion and second. We ready for unreadiness. Now, any questions that anyone has about this issue? Yes, sir? Commissioner Whiteley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So on the list, looking at the staff report, I noticed that Bush Road is a road that is being removed. And I know that I share that road with Commissioner Kicklighter, and our constituents are very concerned. Is their understanding that this road belongs to Chatham County? I understand our attorney has shared information with us on the contrary. So what I wanted to do just in a public forum is be able to raise this question again on their behalf because they are extremely concerned about it. Their concern is that us relinquishing any type of control, if you will, to Bush Road will lead them to be forgotten by the city of Savannah, considering that yes, city of Savannah has a new development coming on the western side of Bush Road, but everybody else is unincorporated Chatham County. So I just wanted to kind of get some clarity on that, if you don't mind.
All right, do you need to answer first, John?
Yeah, just
All right,
as
the
far
attorney
as,
going first.
as far as the road, and as far as the S&O Canal, Savannah-Ogeechee Canal, the city of Savannah owns the canal right away. It's about 300 feet wide in most places, and as narrow as 150 feet in some other places. And it was part of the old S&O Canal that was primary for transportation. If you think of the Erie Canal, it was a smaller version of that, had about 8 lock systems involved. Bush Road is within that right-of-way, so technically the city of Savannah owns the right-of-way. The county, since about 1970-something, has maintained the road there and still does. Quite frankly, if they own the road, the right-of-way, they probably ought to own the road as a practical matter. But yeah, there are concerns, and I think you correctly stated those, up and down Bush Road. That whole area along there has got a lot of developmental projects going on. And I know the power company is getting ready to put up a fairly sophisticated and large distribution center across the street from where most of the houses are, close to Scottsdale Park.
Is your mic on?
Yes.
Pull it, see if you can pull it closer, or either someone in the back, give us some more volume on John's mic.
So anyway, that's pretty much it. The canal right-of-way belongs to the city of Savannah. When the canal went under, it was owned by a railroad company for a while, and then the railroad company gave it to the city of Savannah. And they've held on to it.
So, Mr. Attorney, I understand, like you said, since the 70s, we maintained it. Under what authority did we do that? Like, how does that work? If we could explain that, if you don't mind.
Well, the county was not crazy about the way the city maintained the road and cleaned up after it, especially trash and debris, because it was a very country road in those days. So they entered into an agreement with the city, and it was really just a letter from Russ A. Bolt to the city manager at that time saying, hey, we got this problem. We'll be willing to maintain, clean up, and do some patchwork on the road. And the city, of course, said, well, that suits us. And so from there, they've operated under that for years and years. Now, the city acknowledges that they do not expect the county to take care of that road in perpetuity in some of the later correspondence. But thus far, it's pretty much been the responsibility of the county.
I got you. Now, the last question I have on this is, it was brought to my attention by one of our constituents that at one point in time, GDOT had that road listed as being a county road.
Yeah, GDOT, the road's being maintained by the county, and GDOT contacts the county to do things with that road. So I think we just got on their list that way.
Gotcha.
So are we still operating under that
Yes,
today?
yes,
We're still operating under that, with GDOT getting in touch as we maintaining the road?
yes, sir.
Okay. And so now that comes to you, Nathaniel, as to why it was removed from the list.
So back also what John said, but, you know, when we had a combined police department with city and county, we had all city and county roads listed in one ordinance. When we split up, the city took their roads, we took our roads. This was just an oversight, you know, no different than we have we don't have Broughton Street on our list of roads for CCPD to shoot radar. Bush Road is in the S&O Canal right-of-way. It is owned by the city of Savannah. It's their jurisdiction. So that's why we were recommending removing it.
And so that means that we don't have authority to run radar on that road.
I'd have to defer to the
That's
county
correct?
attorney on that.
That's correct.
All right, so that means that we couldn't put this ordinance in place on that road because we don't have authority.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we want to make sure. That's what he wants to make sure that he can explain to them.
Right.
We don't have the authority to do that.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we took it off the list. Go ahead.
So then with that being said, and this isn't necessarily for you, more so Mr. Manager, so how do we enforce speeding up and down that road for those citizens who live on Bush Road? Because now if we can't shoot radar on it, maybe Savannah PD will be there, but I think their closest jurisdiction is gonna be New Hampstead.
Well, sir, it's just like any other annexation that the city does. They're responsible for that. We're going to be in touch with the city manager to make sure they understand that it's their responsibility. And if we get any concerns from citizens, we'll forward that to the city for action.
And then that limits us to shooting radar, okay? That doesn't mean that if you drive crazy down that road, we're not gonna pull you over for reckless driving or, you know, lane violation, for example. The rest of the motor vehicle ordinance and act would apply because it's state law.
Yes, sir. Well, one final request I have, Mr. Manager, could we perhaps engage the city of Savannah to have some sort of some signage or something out there to try to deter speeding? I know sometimes they'll put out the trailer like we do from time to time, but you know, I already understand that there's drag racing that takes place on this road, but I also understand that there's a lot of families that live out there. So I'm really concerned about their safety at this point.
All right, you got it? You had something, Commissioner Melvin? Okay. You back? Okay.
Chair. My question is, if we have no rights to it, why are we maintaining it? I mean, that letter, like you said, John, they don't expect us to do it forever. But
Well-
we get a lot of conversation about who the road belongs to and who needs to take care of it. And that, you know, the right of way, that stuff that we need to
I
cut.
think the residents that lived on that road like the county cleaning up. I mean, you get people through, you know, we got all these pickup trucks that go up and down the road, and they're great and they're wonderful, but they all have open beds. So you get all kinds of paper products and things coming flying out of those while you're driving down the
Yeah,
road.
that waste station is in that area too.
And then you have people that just litter. So I think they were happy that we'd go through there with our crews and clean. I think they were also happy that we apparently did a better job. Hey, we made improvements in the repair portion of the road. When it
You
needed.
got it? Commissioner Kicklighter.
Just a little bit of history for the people watching. Prior to now, Savannah had really no vested interest in doing a thing to the road. So, and because it was primarily just unincorporated area surrounding it, so every complaint was from people that couldn't vote for or against anyone over there. Had nothing to do with their budget or anything, but now they have a very vested interest because they've been annexing away. So we're currently working with them, and we're that close, I mean, very close now to striking a deal where we're gonna do one major improvement along with them financially on that road, and then they should have to take over maintenance from that point on. We're getting very close, and, but it's been a mess, and, thank Michael and the chairman and, Commissioner Whiteley and everyone else on staff that's been working towards that. I think we're finally about to get that resolved, but it's been a nightmare. And it's kind of like Dean Forest Road as far as this goes with the, being able to run patrol out there. You can, if not for traffic, you could fly down Dean Forest Road because Savannah, that used to be there, back before annexation laws changed. Dean Forest was their contiguous line to go out to the airport so that they could annex that area for the airport. So that road's there, but it's not really near anything else that Savannah has an interest in. So they don't send their police out to patrol that area like others do. So Dean Forest is a mess as far as patrolling goes. But now it's so busy that you can't fly up and down that road if you want to. But same thing here, but it's about to be fixed, thankfully. Thank you.
All right, anything else? And I think, I'm just thinking off the top of my head now, you know how thoughts run through me. Can't the residents, ask the city to ask, the state patrol to help them with their drag racing and stuff that's going on out there?
Yes, sir, they can.
Okay.
You'd be very foolish to drag race on that road because it sits right
Well, we
next
got
to
some
the
foolish
canal.
people.
I
We
know
got
there's
some real
people that
foolish
do it,
people.
But if you go in that ditch, it isn't a ditch, it's a canal, and a lot of bad things gonna happen to
Yeah,
somebody.
well, we got some foolish people, because I'm
and
telling you,
that's-
they drag racing up and down. So what you can tell your constituents to ask the city, or either ask the state themselves to have the state patrol help the city, because we don't have the jurisdiction to run the radar or anything else on it, except that if we just catch somebody flying, and that one of our officers happen to be in the midst of that, okay? All right, any other questions now concerning the request? All right, any other roads? All right, we've got the motion, we got the second, all right, please vote. All right, let us move on now to, I'm gonna switch 1 and 2 around on the individual action, and my reason for doing that is because I don't want to make any of the judges late for what they've got to do, okay? So I'm going to number 2 before I go to anything else on the individual action. Resolution to designate the new Chatham County Trial Court building located at 400 West Overthork Avenue as the official Chatham County Courthouse. The new courthouse shall be part of the Chatham County Judicial Complex, which includes the J. Thomas Coleman Courthouse located on Montgomery Street. All right, may I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second? Okay, now, on readiness, let me call on the judge. Come on, Judge, which one of y'all gonna do the talking?
Mr. Chairman, we'd also like to include the juvenile court in there.
Right, include, yeah, it's gotta be, include that language in there about the juvenile court.
Mr.
That's
Chairman,
right.
I include that in my motion.
Okay, we add that to the amendment, second it over there, okay, good. Now,
Well, thank you. As you know, we are this close to having a new courthouse, and for that, the judicial branch thanks you guys very much. It is
Right.
beautiful, and it's going to be spacious, and it's going to give us so much room to grow that it's just very exciting. So, Judge Morris, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
I don't usually get him, you know, I know you think of him as quiet, but I don't usually have him this quiet. when he's
I
around
know
me.
he's showing off.
It does not mean I'm going to stay.
All right.
And here's your new chief judge, so he'll
All right.
preside over that.
Anything else now? Yes, sir.
Well, we've been calling this courthouse on Montgomery Street the new courthouse for the last 30 or 40 years, and this was the old courthouse, so I'm really perplexed when we passed this motion. I guess this
This
one will
is
still
the-
be old, but
this
what
is
about
the
the one in the
old
middle?
courthouse.
The old one?
Old
Old
courthouse.
one, and that'll be the new old one? Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
We'll change some words. Start calling this, we'll call this the antique. So, yeah, rather than real, yeah, we call it the antique, so we'll know where we are, all right? Got all the things? All right, please cast your votes. Come on. Oh, there we go. Thank you all.
Thank
And
you.
we appreciate it, all right?
Thank you.
We look forward to you working out your new building. To request approval of the following budget amendments and transfer in the Special Service District Fund, transfer for $44,500 from contingency to transfer out to CIP. Two, in the CIP fund, increase transfers in from the Special Service District Fund, $44,500, increasing the high mass lighting project. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Properly motion and second that the request be approved. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right. Now we come to our quarterly report by Chief Talbot. Morning.
Morning.
Sorry. This morning's presentation will cover Chatham County Police Department's year-to-date Part 1 crimes. And I'm going to go ahead and start with violent crimes. If I can get it. Sorry. There we go. As you can see, on the violent crimes, the robberies, in the area of robberies, residential, street robberies, and commercial robberies are continuing to show a downward trend. Additionally, non-domestic aggravated assaults with a gun is also showing a decrease, which is exactly what we're looking for, with an overall decrease, and I'm going through only a couple of the categories, with an overall decrease of 17%. However, property crimes are up this year. Shopliftings has increased by 32%, but when you look at last year's numbers, we had a relatively low count. Theft from autos continues to be a challenge and show an increase. We need more citizens to take responsibility for securing their vehicles. And I've spoken with you all about this, I think, every time I've come up here. It just continues to be a challenge for whatever the reason. Auto thefts are up by 8%. Keys are being left in vehicles. And in an upcoming slide, I'm going to give you a little bit of information as it relates to that. Property crimes are up by 11%, and total crime is up by 6%. This slide depicts Part 1 crimes by beats. Okay, this is the slide that I just spoke about as it relates to auto thefts and entering autos. I have Sergeant Young here with me this morning, and he's going to speak with you after I get done here in a second. But he actually led a task force for us. The last time I was here speaking to you about entering autos, our crime analyst was able to go through the reports and depict a pattern, and that pattern was determined to be in the Berwick area as well as the Cottonville area. And Sergeant Young led that task force, and as a result, he and others that worked with him issued search warrants and recovered, as you see, search warrants recovered sets of keys, 13 stolen cell phones, gloves, masks, firearms, magazines, and ammunitions. A juvenile, but I believe they have their eyes on several juveniles, were booked and charged with the offense of entering autos. And as I indicated with the stolen keys, if you will notice, I believe it's 7 sets, belongs to vehicles that were entered by these juveniles. Now that told us that the owners of these vehicles apparently left sets of keys in the vehicle, which aids individuals when they enter the vehicle into stealing not only the property in the vehicle, but the vehicle itself. And so if we can, again, the last time I think I spoke to you, I was speaking to you about weapons, primarily weapons being left in the cars. But if we can get individuals to really pay attention to what we're asking them to do, we can actually help cut down on some of this crime. Now, I just got through speaking with some federal agents and relative to entering autos yesterday. And the agents mentioned that not only are we losing weapons out of vehicles for the sake of individuals having weapons, but we're losing weapons out of vehicles for the sake of initiations into gangs. And so we really, really, really need individuals to stop leaving their weapons in their cars. Now, we've put out notifications all over the county. We've put out signs that some of you may have seen asking individuals to lock their vehicles and secure their properties. But for some reason, I mean, we just can't get them to do it. So we're going to continue with this challenge. We're going to continue talking with them at town hall meetings and et cetera, and putting out media information through social media to try to get individuals to be accountable for their property. But that's probably about the extent of what we can do at this point to try to encourage individuals to do what they need to do.
Before you flip from this slide, let's say, okay, I'll go ahead.
Did you mention that, thank you, Mr. Chairman, did you mention that after the task force that a person was arrested?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. We actually did secure arrest warrants for one individual. We believe that there are multiple individuals involved in this, but we only had enough evidence to charge just the one individual where we found all of this inside their apartment. Of the 7 sets of keys, we actually determined that 5 were belonging to vehicles that were stolen out of unincorporated Chatham, and we actually returned those sets of keys back to the owners as well. The vehicles were taken during strings of entering autos that occurred overnight, and vehicle would be stolen with a key that was left inside the car and then driven to another location and left there. We believe the keys were held on to in an attempt to go back and re-steal those vehicles later, which is a common trend when individuals are doing entering autos and taking vehicle keys. Most of the time the keys are never recovered, but in this situation we got very lucky that we were able to still recover 7 of those sets, and again 5 of those returned to stolen autos from our jurisdiction.
Yeah, my coworker lives in this area and her car was stolen.
One of those might have been hers.
I think you found it, but it was totally destroyed.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. but good
That
job,
happens.
though.
I mean, they'll go through the car and take out what they want and tear it up if they need to. So,
All right, let me ask this question now. You're pointing out that Berwick and Cartonville are hotspots, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, now, is that split between you all?
That's
or is-
me
That's
and
solid to
Dean.
you?
Me and
That's
Dean.
who? That's you and Dean? Okay, that's what I needed to know. I needed to know whether there was a split in this
Well,
area.
I think Dean has, I don't know how much of
Okay.
that side I got.
But it's split? Okay, that's what I need to
But
know.
Cottonville is all
All
mine.
right, that's what I need to know. I'll get with you.
Yes, sir.
I've got some ideas, all right, about how we can, is that yours too?
No, I want to ask another question,
Oh, okay,
but I'll wait until you finish that, then. I'll
okay.
ask.
I've got some ideas, since we know that this is a hot spot,
Yes, sir.
all right, I've got some ideas, and I wanna run them past you all to see if we can get people to pay more attention to what's happening around you, all right? So that we can do. But I just needed to know whether it was split or whether it was one solid district. That's what I needed to know. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief Talbot, I'd like to ask you this question, please.
Yes, sir.
Do you find gangs are on the increase or decrease in Chatham County?
Okay, so as it relates to the conversation I had and the
Yes.
information we have right now as it relates to gangs, there's not been a significant increase, but there's always initiations. And to accurately get numbers on that, I would really need to have that conversation with the sheriff department.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, now you can go ahead.
So I feel like this is sort of dated information, but I did want to give our staff the credit because they worked hard to put together this back-to-school giveaway for our kids in the Westlake area as well as in the Regency Mobile Home Park area. They actually went out, I joined them at one of the events, but they went out and distributed book bags and snack packs and a lot of supplies to the kids on the way back to school. And the young people that came out to receive these items were extremely grateful. And we will continue to do this. We just got a late start on it, but regardless of when we started with it, they appreciate it. So I wanted to acknowledge that with staff. It was actually Captain Fandridge who was responsible for the West Side Precinct. She and her staff initiated this. Latoya Brown, I think I brought her here previously. She's one of our crime community resource officers, and she do a spectacular job working with the kids in her area, as well as Adrian Tillman. Now, she's an administrative assistant, but she likes to add extra to what she's responsible for doing, and she was volunteering each and every time to come out and help with the young people. So I give them kudos for that because sometimes we can't get them to come out on a Saturday, but they were willing to give up their time and do it on a Saturday.
Good.
Oh, and let me not forget Detective Drain because she is awesome. She does a lot for the department and she's always volunteering, so I want to mention her as well. So Tropical Storm Debbie, when she came to town, she sort of tore us up a little bit, as you already know. This slide actually depicts, if you look at the slide on the left, you have Officer Powell there, and he's helping a gentleman. In this particular slide, Officer Powell is barefooted. He actually had to take all of his gear off, including his shoes, and he went in a flooded area to try to help rescue this gentleman. He was stuck in his vehicle. He apparently got caught up in the flood waters and was not able to get himself out. So along with the Chatham Fire Department, they all went out there, and Officer Powell actually had to swim to him. That's why he's soaked out like he is. His vehicle, this gentleman's vehicle, was headed towards a ditch. And Officer Powell recognized that that was going to definitely be a problem. So again, fire department came out with them, and they were able to get him out of the vehicle, and that's why he looked a little distraught there. Then you have good gentleman here, Sergeant Lauren Young. He's standing on top of the high-rise vehicle that belongs to Chatham County PD. He went over, along with a couple of others, to Compassion Christian Church Compassion Christian Church, as you heard previously, did a fantastic job in coming out and aiding our communities with the disbursement of food supplies, water supplies, etc., and just supplies in general. Sergeant Young here went over and he assisted, and that's what you see him doing in the back of the truck. And of course, I think you all have heard the work that Marine Patrol did during the storm, and you see Marine Patrol continuing to participate in rescues. And then we had Hurricane Helene. So with Hurricane Helene, police was basically asked to participate and assist as much as possible because there was so much power outage during Helene with traffic signal details. The traffic was backed up all over Chatham County. We had to put out signs, of course, and our officers actually had to man certain intersections to keep the traffic flowing, even though it was flowing at a slow pace because we had people coming into our community from up Florida area. So it was a lot of vehicle traffic coming through. And this is just a photo of some of the activities that were involved with Hurricane Helene. And let's see. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Sergeant Lauren Young, but I do want to mention one thing. On my way here this morning, my staff notified me that, you know, every year this time as the weather changes and we get a little cold weather, individuals feel the need to warm up their vehicles. Sometimes they warm up the vehicles and leave the keys in the vehicles, and sometimes they leave children in the back of the vehicle on the way to drop them off on the way to work. And so this morning we encountered a situation or two where individuals attempted to steal a vehicle that was being warmed up outside. So I just want to make sure that we alert our residents that that's just not a good practice. It won't take that much longer to warm up the vehicle when you get in the vehicle as opposed to leaving the vehicle running. Because there are individuals watching and waiting for the opportunity to steal a vehicle. And we do not need additional numbers added to the numbers we're already dealing with. So if we can get our residents to please adhere to not running the vehicles and leaving the vehicles warming, especially with the keys still in them, and even worse with a child in the car, that would help out tremendously. And I'll turn it over to our homeless liaison sergeant, and he'll give you an update on where we are with the homeless program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate everyone letting me come speak this morning on what I've been doing over the past year at Chatham County as it relates to the issues on the homeless population here. I believe I was here just about a year ago when we were first getting everything started, and I told you we were going to try and take a very data-driven approach to what we're going to be doing. And I'll tell you, there's been a whole lot to learn just in what's going on. I've been in meetings with Commissioner Whiteley and business owners out in West Chatham. I've had a meeting with Commissioner Farrell as well about issues over on Whitmarsh Island. Although the homeless issues here in Chatham County seem to be very cut and dry and very easy issue, there are so many intricacies to it that really affect how well we can do as a police department and also as a county. But we started this last year. Really, there's relatively little training for law enforcement on the issue of homelessness. We've kind of come a long way in the area of like behavioral health. It's very widespread training that a lot of law enforcement officers get these days. I searched for weeks and weeks just to find something as it relates for homelessness to law enforcement, and finally found one training in the country to go to down in Fort Lauderdale. They have a great program down there. We took a lot of the information they gave us back to Chatham County and developed our policy at Chatham County PD for how we deal with encampments that are on public properties as well as private properties. There's also a lot of civil intricacies to law enforcement encounters with the homeless that's been decided by Georgia Supreme Court's 11th District and most recently the United States Supreme Court on how we can actually police the homeless population. The photo you saw there was just a couple of photos we included from different encampments we've encountered in unincorporated Chatham County. One of the things that has aided us a lot in this is the implementation of our Gelada program. It's been great for our patrol officers to be able to forward referrals for individuals they encounter on patrol directly to me, and that initiates follow-up, which can take place. And it could be in the form of just going out and meeting with the individual and seeing what resources we might be able to get them in contact with. Or it could include going out and trying to find that individual's family members, or if there's any kind of, food resources, stuff like that, we can link them up with as well. The referral system is also a multi-agency approach to this. We have the aspect of the behavioral health officer that works with me. He'll go out sometimes as well and talk to these folks. Or if we need to have it coordinated with either Chatham Fire, Chatham EMS, everyone's got access to it to make sure that if an individual is in need, that they're going to the proper place. One thing that we do a lot more of now is storm coordination, heat advisory coordination, also cold weather coordination between all the different nonprofits and agencies within Chatham County. So when they're advertising those cooling shelters in the summer for people who need some reprieve from the heat, or the warming shelters in the winter when we get those really bitter cold nights, that's something we can go out with as well. All that information gets now pushed out to our patrol officers. So if they encounter somebody on the street who's in need of that, and not just a homeless population, but anybody in Chatham County they encounter. Could be somebody whose power is out, or maybe they just are in need of a place to cool down, charge their phone for a bit. They know of all those resources as well. And then we'll go out prior to storms and stuff and see if anybody is interested in trying to get that shelter during the storm. So far, Chatham County PD has assisted 7 different citizens in unincorporated Chatham on their private properties with relocating encampments off the property elsewhere. During those operations for the encampment clearing, no arrests have been made for criminal trespass. We did have a couple instances where individuals had outstanding warrants, but there's nothing we can really do as far as that goes. And then we have not had any of those encampments repopulate on those private properties as of yet, knock on wood. But I do believe that having the position has created that direct outreach to the citizens, because prior to that, we didn't have any process for assisting those individuals with relocating those encampments off their property. And it's a balance. It really is. It's a balance of the individuals need somewhere to be, but also that private citizen is entitled to free use of their own property, and they're entitled to not have anyone else on their property. So, we make it a coordinated effort where I'll go out and assess, how large the encampment is, how many people are staying there, what resources are needed. And then we'll establish a timeline from there on how long the individuals have to vacate. We post these signage here that you see in the photographs. They're very large signs, about 24 inches by 36 inches. And it has a date listed for the day the signage is posted, the day the individuals need to vacate with all their property, and also lists the address for the property where the signage is posted. There is information on there to contact the Chatham County Police Department and also the Chatham-Savannah Authority for the Homeless if the individuals need resources. And typically, between the time that we establish the final day the individuals need to be removed from the property, I'll be out there every day or at least every other day to try and keep contact with these individuals and making sure they're kind of gathering their belongings, or if they need assistance, we can provide it. And so we can have those individuals coordinated with the Chatham-Savannah Authority for the Homeless. They've come out with me as well to conduct outreach during my visits. It's been a pretty beneficial process so far. We did have a new Georgia code that came up as of this year, went active in April, and it just added on to the criminal trespass statute, added a 16-7-21.1 for unlawful squatting. We have not had any incidences of this yet, but what it does provide for is for individuals who are residing on private property where they state they have a claim to actually be there, they are now entitled to, during the first 72 hours, sort of receive like a warning citation of, okay, well, let's get this sorted out. Within that 72 hours, it provide paperwork to the police department that actually confirms their status of being allowed to be on the property. And if they do, it creates for an administrative procedure to go to magistrate court for the magistrate court judge to determine the validity of that paperwork. And then if it's not valid, it'll be referred to the sheriff's office for ejection. So now we have a legitimate process to address squatting. I know there's a lot of states where people see that, individuals can stay within a property for a long period of time, and it can sometimes be problematic. Now that we have something like this to aid us, we have something to go in the right direction on how to address it. One thing that we always get a lot of phone calls about, there's always a lot of concerns about, is panhandling in Chatham County. The act of panhandling itself is not illegal. It's been ruled by the Georgia Supreme Court as well as other courts and U.S. Supreme Court as a form of free speech. But something we are working on in coordination with Mr. Kegler and other individuals is county ordinances that prohibit public camping and also the act of aggressive panhandling. We've seen some other jurisdictions which have enacted an aggressive panhandling ordinance, which has really worked out, and it prevents the individual from doing things like panhandling in front of a business or within so many feet of an intersection, or by approaching vehicles that are stopped in the roadway, or by approaching the same individual multiple times. There's a lot of things we can look at exploring with that, but I believe that those two things would be very beneficial to bring in because of the onboarding of the community court, which we expect here in the next, I don't have a timeline, but it's something that the Superior Court judge has been working on. And I think that this would be great buy-in for the individuals in the homeless community to participate in that community court. So there's a lot of good things going on. And it's been a lot more work than what I anticipated for sure. So, you have any questions on this or anything?
All right, any questions? Or Commissioner Whiteley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Sergeant Young, as usual, I appreciate the work you've been doing. Chief Tolbert, your leadership and what we've been going through. One thing I want to, before I get to your question, I just want to say to Chief Tolbert to share with some of the great comments that I've gotten from a lot of my constituents on their interaction with our police department, to include Sergeant Young. So I just want to thank you all. You know, the effort in community policing, I think, is huge, and it'll pay dividends, so stick with it. All right, now, Sergeant Young, you know, when we talk about the aggressive panhandling piece, one of the concerns that I've gotten from the business owners and some of the citizens in my district, especially out by the gateway, is just the vagrancy issue, where it's not that somebody's being homeless, it's that you're intoxicated on the side of the road, or you're hanging out on the side of the road, and now this corner has become overrun with trash and stuff like that. And so do you think that in the trainings that you've gone to, have you heard of other communities putting in some kind of littering clause or something like that as it relates to the panhandling as well?
The couple that I've seen did not envelop a littering clause to it specifically, but obviously we do have a littering ordinance here in Chatham County beside it as well. A lot of times the issue with that typically comes in whether or not it's done directly in front of our eyes. You know, it's easy to make the argument that if somebody's standing out near a roadway, near an intersection, that the trash was there prior to their arrival, and so it kind of becomes a matter of what's reasonable, but it doesn't necessarily make it unreasonable to try and enforce that as well. And again, I think that any of our county ordinances that, you know, would apply to activities among the homeless community will be great buy-in for that community court program that they're trying to onboard. You know, that program would require that they complete a program with a service provider here in Chatham County, and I think that that would very much better their position from where they are when we start with it. You know, we're also bound by legalities as, you know, as it comes to approaching an individual and having that police encounter. Again, we have to have a certain level of reasonable suspicion for crimes before we can just stop and talk to folks. And so there is a bit of a legal constraint to it as well.
Gotcha. All right, well, thank you for that. And again, I just want to applaud your efforts because I know it's not easy, and especially when we're getting the calls and just sending them down to y'all to some degree. But I really appreciate what you've been doing. I think it's very effective.
Thank you.
All right, any other? Thank you. All right.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Lawyer, let me ask you this now. Tell us about possible new local ordinances. Can we pass an ordinance that's for all of Chatham County, or we just have to stay in the unincorporated area?
Technically, we have to stay in unincorporated.
Technically?
Unless we're passing an ordinance that's state law anyway.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, that's my question now. He answered it for me, yeah.
I have a question in that same vein. So in Georgia state law, loitering is illegal. Is that only relegated to like private property?
loitering statutes are notoriously vague. They cannot withstand
Get you in court.
constitutional challenge. So there's a lot of them out there, very few of them are enforced. If something occurs on private property and somebody's loitering, the person that owns the property has the right to call the police and say, I've asked this guy to leave, he doesn't leave, would you please escort him out? And that gives us the power to regulate that type of loitering.
Okay, so with that, in my district, it's in the city of Savannah, it's Holland Drive. There's a homeless encampment that's on county property. And so these homeless folks are coming back into the city of Savannah neighbors, but again, that's county property, like we have signage up. So would that be considering loitering, and or with the new Supreme Court law, because they're on public ground, can we remove them?
I will say, in that regards, we've been working really well with the city, and both of those officers. The city has a great team that's out there too. We're looking to augment that with, you know, more team members from the Chatham side. So we are working together to try to eliminate that problem. One of the things that you'll see within the next few meetings, I've tasked our team with coming together with a update to some of our ordinances. So they've asked, they need certain things in place in order to have teeth behind their enforcement measures. So we'll be coming to the board with some change to our ordinance.
Got it, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Kickleiter.
To kind of piggyback off of what you asked a minute ago, although we can't make an ordinance, enforce it countywide, could we not get together with every city and form some type of, I don't know, little study committee with every city having a rep, with the county having a rep, and come up with some type of, similar to what we did with the animal ordinances. I mean, we pretty much came up with it and everyone followed suit, but that was easier because we oversee animal control. But on this, could we, I'll see John,
Go ahead.
let me just finish the thought, yeah. Could we come up with something together that would address the homelessness, like panhandling, camping, and loitering? Because I've noticed, we all noticed, especially on the west side, when Savannah addressed it in one certain way, boom, there they were sitting out on the west side. And so instead of shifting problems from one of our cities to another, to unincorporated, if we can unify on this, we can move them out to another county. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible sounding, I know. But
yeah, we can
but we don't need to do this to ourselves in the county. And then, yes, we could go regionally also and offer the same thing if we come up with something brilliant to Effingham and Bryan and Liberty and.
Okay, if they're on public property, yes, we can form this committee, and yes, we can try to take a wide-ranging look at what we need to do and coordinate our efforts so we get the biggest bang for the buck. But with public property, especially things like public parks, you just can't go in there and move them out. You've got to do something with them. And if they have nowhere to go, and you have not provided a resource for them to be able to go somewhere, then you have constitutional issues. And that's what happened to those cases out in the West that went to the Supreme Court. People were occupying the parks, but the city provided no type of homeless assistance. So if you're going to do that, then you've got to deal with, okay, what do we do with these folks?
But don't we have multiple nonprofit agencies that will house homeless people?
Sure we do. No. We don't have the supply to meet the demand.
Because we're working now with.
Do we have the supply to meet the desire? Have people polled to see how many of those, the homeless choose the situation?
Yes, sir.
And I know not, I mean, and I'm not trying to sound callous, but many homeless people choose to be. Many do not choose that. And thank God there's assistance.
Yeah, to address that, we are working with the Homeless Authority and several of the agencies that provide assistance and resources to that population. and we're working on policies now. We do have a number on the unhoused, unsheltered people in this community. And matter of fact, that's going to be addressed in the workshop. We've got a workshop coming up on November 12th that I encourage all the board members to go to, and you'll hear some of those recommendations that's going to come forward to address homelessness countywide. So again, I encourage you to attend that and ask questions, and you'll be able to kind of see what we're proposing.
And that's one of the things that we work, I'm coming. That's one of the things we're working on, because it's exactly what you said. We put our foot down here and they jump across the street.
Exactly.
And so that's why I said in the new ordinance, if we can do, and I don't know that it's possible, that's why I asked the lawyer about it. When we put these things, or when we come up with solutions to them, if we don't need to do a MOU or IGA totally in the county, so that it's the same place no matter where you go in the county. But again, now, our struggle is, if you do something with them, you gotta have some place for them to go, all right? Because that's been all the way up the chain in the law field, so we have to look at that, okay? That's why I asked that question.
You're talking about public space though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, you can still
Well, see, that's what
tell
he's
somebody to
saying.
get off
We
the
own
front
the
yard.
property. We own that property, that's public, because it belongs to the county. But they jumped right across the street because we ran them out of, yeah, so we going backwards and forwards. Anything else from anybody else?
Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Chairman, speaking to what Commissioner Kicklighter was talking about, I think that's some of the complexities that they talk about when you're dealing with it, because some of the resources have rules, regulations. You have some who have dependency issues, so they can't be housed in certain areas. There are all kinds of rules. Having to leave at a certain time. I think those are some of the nuances of dealing with the homeless. It's just not a black and white thing. Yeah, so.
Come together as a group and bring
Right.
it together.
Yeah.
Right. And
It's
that's what
necessary,
we're doing
yeah.
through IGAs or MOUs, because one of the biggest things they get kicked out for is they gotta have that beer. I gotta have me a drink of beer, and once they smell the beer, they won't let me in, so I don't have a place to go that night, okay? Did I get everybody? All right, the action calendar in its entirety, may I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the action calendar in its entirety.
Second.
Probably motion is second that we accept the action calendar in its entirety. Are you ready for the question? Please signify by casting your votes. All right. First readers. The petitioner, Paul Washington, is requesting to designate Southfield Cemetery located in Palm Drive, Chevis Road, a historic property designation, PIN number 11030E02007, HD-0424-0000466. The CCHPE requests approval with conditions, and we'll take that up at a second reading as to what those conditions are. In the meantime, have them get whatever those conditions are to the commissioners in writing, okay? 2, resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Chatham County to name the Chatham County Courthouse located at 400 West Overthorpe Avenue as the Judge Eugene H. Gaston Courthouse, all right? It is read into the records. At the next meeting, we will take it up for a second reading and its passage, all right, the passage of it. Okay, it's in the records.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If I can just ask to amend the record on item number 1, that is, Chevis Road is in District 6.
District 6, you're gonna put District 6 in there rather than District 5?
Rather than District 5, yes, sir.
All right, put 6. Let's get that straight, all right, until we get, the petitioner for a second reading, the petitioner has asked that we table the first one on the Gateway Boulevard. May I have a motion to table?
Mr. Chairman, the staff is requesting the table.
Staff,
Yes.
okay, all right, staff is, not the petitioner, the staff is. All right, may I have a motion to table?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that motion.
All right, it's properly motion and second. Please cast your votes. All right. Amendment to the Chatham County Ordinance, Revenue Ordinance to reflect increase to sewer tap-in and other related fees. All right. Second reading, is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, unreadiness. Now, there anyone with any unreadiness on this? Hearing none, please cast your votes. All right. All right, information, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. At the next meeting, I plan to have Director Jones and Mr. Wright, our Public Works Director, to provide us with a 30-day report on our debris cleanup. I think that they've been doing an excellent job. There's a lot of debris out there, and we just ask the public for patience. But they're working 7 days a week, and hopefully we're going to make a dent in this, but we ask for patience from the citizens, and we will get to you. Also at your desk, Mr. Wright has put together a kind of a mini report for you to look at, and if you have any questions, just contact my office, but we will go into detail at our next meeting and provide you with a detailed report. Also in front of you, you'll have some updates that I wanted to pay close attention to. The first deals with the partial closure of McQueen's Island Trail. With the Hurricane Helene, we experienced some damage at the midsection, so it's kind of limited on access. So that information is in your packet, and we've announced that. We did a press release to the public indicating that. We've got updates. We've got the third and final President Street Elimination Study Committee meeting on October 30th. And we've got the Highway 204 Public Information Open House on October 29th. That's in your packet. We're reminding the board about the workshop that's on October 22nd here in the chambers. We've also got a announcement reminding the board on the homeless strategic plan stakeholders presentation. That's going to be on November 12th. We talked about the District 12 ACCG regional meeting in Brunswick, and we'll be providing a van. If I just need to know how many commissioners plan to attend, and we're providing a van back and forth to Brunswick. The meeting's from 4 to 6, and they're going to be having a lot of useful and important information presented at the regional meeting. We've got information from the health department on our drive-through flu vaccination clinic and the Hispanic Health Fair. The vaccination clinic will be on October 31st, and the Hispanic Health Fair on October 20th. Reminding you again about our groundbreaking ceremony on October 22nd. So you'll have in the morning at 9 o'clock, we've got the groundbreaking ceremony for the Behavioral Health Center at 9 on the 22nd, and at 2:30 we'll be having our board workshop. Also included is announcement on the county's Veterans Day recognition ceremony, and that's going to be on November 7th. And last but not least, we've got update from the Sheriff's Department on Operation New Hope and an event they're having on October 22nd. So all those are listed in your packet. If you've got need additional information, please contact our office and we'll provide that to you. And that's all we have, Mr. Chairman.
That's all you have?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me just say this for information for the board. We had a very productive meeting Tuesday and Wednesday in DC, all right? From the White House throughout the Senator building, and we have some action items that we have in motion, okay, to take care. And I'll tell you now, the best way I can say this is that we're dealing with infrastructure, okay? And we're gonna need a whole lot of help with infrastructure. And so it behooves us to get our municipalities, especially on the west side, on the same page, okay? Because if we don't, we have a chance of losing the foundation that we set this past Tuesday and Wednesday, all right? We want to build upon that foundation, so we need people to cooperate, all right, and to be on one page, and it's time now for big brother to take care of little brother and little big sister to take care of little sister, and for all of us to be together, okay? Because if you're not divided, this thing is gonna fall apart. There is no doubt that the west side is our fastest growing area, and there are some infrastructure things that are not in place, all right? I'll say we weren't ready for it, but it's here. And so we have to make decisions in which we are aggressive in that decision, and I'll give you an example of what I'm saying, and to all the commissioners now. If I call you on the spur of the moment and tell you I need you to be here so we can talk about certain issues, I need you to come so we can talk about certain issues, okay? Because one of the things that I can say to you, we came back from DC, and yesterday we were able to meet with Chairman McMurray from DOT, and so now we are bringing the folks from Federal Transportation and DOT. We're gonna meet in Atlanta to talk about the help that we need there, because there are funds available, but we've got to be swift in what we do, but we've got to be correct. We don't have time to make mistakes for it to come back. And while I'm saying that, Mr. Manager, check that handout that we got from Thing. Y'all do some spell checking, all right? You got me? Y'all saw it?
Yes, sir.
Or y'all caught it? Do some spell. See, and that's what I'm saying now. Listen, I'm not picking on them, but I'm pointing out a fact that if we have that kind of stuff with paperwork that needs to be in DC by a certain time, we gonna miss, okay? And so therefore, we have to make sure all the Ts and all the Is and all the commas and everything else, the periods and all that stuff is in place, and that application is great, because now we are competing against the whole country, all right? Understand me now, we are competing against the whole country. There are infrastructure dollars available, but we have to be on task and on top in order that our name be put in the pot, okay? So I just want you to know, though, publicly I can say, we were very productive in our meetings in DC Tuesday and Wednesday, okay? And so we're gonna be working on that, and we're gonna be working forward with that, and it might require commissioners getting with your constituents, like for public meetings and things, and one of the things we cannot do is, and what I hope we never do, is go out and promise something and then it gets stuck.
Right.
Because then it looks like we can't deliver, all right? I want to make sure what we say is what we can do. Mean what you say and say what you mean, all right? That way we stay on top with our federal partners who stay with us, with our state partners, so that it can happen locally. But I don't have to tell anybody, the west side is about to, my wife told me don't say fitting, it's about to explode, boom, all right? And so we're gonna have to make sure that we have things in place, even from the standpoint of when we talk about SEMA, and you know, we talked about the sirens not being able to be heard. There's some things that if we can do, we will do, but then have to go back to the design. It was not designed for inside the house, it was designed for folks outside the house, all right? So there's a way for us to get folks inside the house notified that something is coming along, but they have to be willing participant in what we're doing, okay? And so I just want to put that out there so you will know that that's where we are and that's where we're going, okay? And that's what we've been moving forward. Now, there is a need for us to have executive session. Yes, sir.
Before we recess, I wanted to offer some kudos just real quick to Public Works, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Manager, if you will please share, I see Mr. Wright's back there. I've gotten a lot of calls. People are very thankful for the work that Public Works is doing, SEMA facilitating that as well. Public Works staff going above and beyond in a lot of ways to help our community. So I just want to give you those kudos, because I know everybody's asking, when's the pickup happening?
Right.
And y'all are actually out there working, and I try to express how serious it is, and we could have it a lot worse. But nonetheless, you know, when somebody's having their own bad day, it's their own bad day. So I won't fault them for that. But Mr. Wright, as well as Mr. Jones, you guys, your staff, thank you so much for what you're doing, especially in the instances where you're going above and beyond to help our community. They really appreciate it, and I wanted to convey that to you.
Yeah, we sure do appreciate it, and don't think that I'm being critical at any standpoint. I'm just saying how we need to do. But let me say this now. Even checking in Tuesday morning as I was going through the TSA check-in, the guy who was checking me in says, Mr. Chairman, I want to give Chatham County a great big hand, because you all are way above your neighbors. All right, I'm not gonna call the county name, but they told me you way above your our county and getting rid of that debris. So we've got a mess. I said, well, listen, we still have a pile of a mess too. All right, we got the email from the lady the other day who was mad because they came by and picked up some things and didn't pick up other things. The things that they pick up were things that could be picked up by hand. But now when you got a log this big around that's sitting on the side of the road, nobody can grab that thing and throw it up in no truck. You gotta wait till the boom truck comes. And she didn't want to do that. She wanted them to do it right then, all right? So listen, we have to take the good with the bad, all right? Sometimes somebody throws salt, but guess what? Salt is a preserver, all right? And that's all. And so now we do have to have an executive session, all right? May I have litigation, acquisition, and personnel.
I'll make a motion, we recess to executive session.
Second.
Properly motion and second. You ready for the question? All right. Cast your votes. All right.